Hi, my name is Elaine Sacco, and I have macular degeneration. I have been coming to Andy for approximately 4 years, and in that time, every time I come, I notice an improvement. When I go to my regular eye doctor, he says to me, whatever you're doing, keep it up. I have had it hasn't gotten worse.
And ever since I've been coming with Andy, I've not only stabilized, but I've gotten better. So I'm really, really happy, and I really love coming here. It betters my complete condition. But mainly, of course, I can read. I can read the paper with glasses. So I really believe in this.
First of all, is there anything we can really do about presbyopia that makes sense in your practice?
Well, Dr. Oz, the good news is there are things we can do. We can actually exercise the muscles of the eye, because the eyes have muscles that help us focus Just like we could exercise any other muscles in our body, we can do eye exercises that can help strengthen to help us focus better.
All right, guys. We're just going to give everybody a minute or two here to populate. We have, about 175 people. I know we had about 500 of you guys sign up for this session, this Black Friday or Bright Friday for you, our session. Just want to do one thing. Blaine, if you're on, can you do me a favor and just put it so I'm on the screen and there's not a split screen of you and me? Just adjust that. Well, we're getting things going here. Yeah, people are still coming in. So I just want to give people a minute or two. We're just about 200 people. So those are you guys who are here. Thanks. Awesome. I want to say welcome while we're waiting for everybody else to come in. Yeah, we're over 200 and people are still coming in. Thank you for taking the time to spend with us, me and our group on this Black Friday. We're going to take about an hour, but I will stay longer on this course if you guys have questions, because I want to make sure that you guys have your questions. So let me give you an overview of how this session is going to run. Again, we're going to go about an hour, hour and a half, something like that, until you guys have all your questions answered. I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction. For those of you guys who do not know me, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, why we're here, why you're here, what this is all about. And then we're going to get into a little bit about our course and why. I want to talk about why we created the offer. And it's not what we'll get to the offer and what we're promoting for Black Friday or Bright Friday. But more importantly, I want to spend some time discussing why, like what was the genesis of creating what we're doing. Then I want to give you guys an overview of the 12-week at-home medical coaching program. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the alternating current stimulation and answer questions on there. Then we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the offer, and we're also going to open it up then to questions, because I know a lot of you guys are here. You have a lot of questions, either about the course, your eye condition, maybe about coming in and being a patient in clinic. I want to make sure that we get to that. So here's what I want you guys to do. Throughout the first half hour or so that I'm presenting, I want you guys to go over to the chat section. You're going to see the chat section in the lower bar. If you just click on the lower Zoom setting, if you can, what you're going to do is type your questions in. All right. They will populate. I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to get to them, and I'm going to get to as many as I can as we go through. Now, some of them may be answered throughout the course or this class, masterclass that we're doing for you guys. So if there are any questions that I'm pretty sure we already answered, I'll reference it, and then you can correct and ask again if you want to. But again, please feel free to post any of your questions. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay and everything's coming through all right. And let's get going. Yeah, we got about 245, creeping up on 250 people. It's awesome. Okay, so let's get going. So first, again, welcome to our Black Friday, more of a bright Friday for you, special masterclass. The purpose of this masterclass, again, is to give you some content about we're offering a discount, Black Friday discount for our ACS 3000. That's our alternating current stimulation. But we're also launching this new online medical coaching program, medical ophthalmology program that we beta tested a couple of months ago, and it worked out really, really well. I'm so excited about it. So I want to tell you about that. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Dr. Andy Rosenfarb. I've been in practice for a little over 30 years, specializing in holistic integrative ophthalmology. What I do is I help people recover and preserve their vision with safe and effective holistic methods. Our goal is integrative, right? Integrative strategies. What does integrative mean? Integrative means we're not going 100% conventional biomedicine, and we're not going 100% holistic therapies, right? Natural therapies, naturopathic, Chinese medicine, acupuncture. There's value in both. In order to get you the best outcomes clinically, long-term, to preserve and even recover your vision, we need to marry both together. All right. There's a lot of insufficiencies that conventional medicine has, and you know that. We're going to talk about that. And there's a lot of insufficiencies that traditional systems of medicine have. A lot of those are diagnostics and sometimes surgeries and medications that are important for this as well. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with that. We're going to look into, I'm going to share with you some of my expertise. I want to give you guys some tips, some pointers, and what can help you for at home. And again, when you guys have an opportunity, please start. Yes, I see you guys are starting with the Q&A. Awesome. So just keep loading those questions in, guys, and I will get to them towards the end. But let's start off a little bit with what our offer is and why we're here today. So again, the purpose of what we're doing here is I want to first dive in with explaining the course that we put together and what that's about. Now, before we do that, we want to talk about this idea of there is actually a science behind vision recovery. There is, even though a lot of these methods, acupuncture, supplements, Ai Qigong exercises, alternating current stimulation, a lot of these therapies are considered holistic and non-conventional. They're still effective. There is still research behind them, meaning they're research proven, evidence-based. So even though people get confused, they think just because they're not recommended by their conventional eye doctors, ophthalmologists, retinal specialists, or glaucoma specialists, doesn't mean that there's no research behind them. So that's the first thing I want to let you guys aware of, that this is a science. Some of it's empirical because we're constantly growing and expanding and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So we see clinically first, and then once we see what works clinically, then we bring it to research, right, or research studies. So to kind of test it, to see what kind of real studies we can put together to do that. But the point is, there is a science, a methodology, a consistent way of helping people move from here, where their vision is failing, you're struggling with that, to a hopeful situation where you can, in most cases, recover your vision, and in almost all cases, slow and preserve your vision. And we're talking about both acute traumatic injuries, right? God forbid you get an accident or a stroke or surgery or something like that, which are more acute in nature, and also chronic neurodegenerative conditions, things like macular degeneration, glaucoma, retinitis pigmentosa, Usher's, Stargardt's eye strokes, diabetic retinopathy, dry eye syndromes, cataracts, so on and so forth. So we're dealing with both acute neurovascular eye problems, and we're dealing with slow, progressive, chronic conditions. Okay, so we're dealing with both. And the idea here is that recovery and vision preservation is possible, even though your doctor has told you, maybe not in full, or maybe they have, depending on what condition you have. There's nothing available to you. If you have something like dry macular degeneration, retinitis pigmentosa, normal tension, glaucoma, maybe an eye stroke, retinal eye stroke, optic nerve eye stroke, maybe give you some steroids, maybe some injections or something like that. And then that's it. You know, you're told to go. If you have macular degeneration, Usher syndrome, retinitis pigmentosa, that's it. There's no treatment. So for a lot of these conditions, there's nothing conventional medicine has to offer. And you know that, right? You know that to be true because that's communication you've had. And inside that conversation, we need to understand, and here I just want to bring this up because in clinic with patients, often every week we have this conversation where my patients are frustrated, very frustrated often, or disappointed, to say the least, with their ophthalmologists, retinal specialists, and glaucoma specialists, that they should have more. They should recommend acupuncture. They should recommend red light therapy. They should recommend hyperbaric oxygen, hydrogen therapy, any of these supplements. And they're not. So patients get irritated. You know, they're like, okay, well, I went to my eye doctor and they said there's nothing, but then I go online and they, research people like me or others who do similar things like I do. And they say, well, there's hope. There's definitely seems to be something that makes sense. First and foremost, that we're talking about common sense strategies here. They're not far out. Maybe at first when you hear them, you think acupuncture, like, how can that help eyes? But there's a science and a strategy and years, like millennium, in terms of Chinese medicine of results that we've had. So to round out that conversation, I just want you guys to appreciate that conventional eye doctors have what's called an industry standard, right? That means they have a box which they can operate out of. And that box is drugs and surgery. So when they say there's nothing available to you, they're not lying. That means inside their toolkit of drugs and surgery, there's nothing available. The problem is when they say nobody else can do anything, don't waste your time, there's nothing available for you. That is patently untrue. That's not accurate. And that's when things get a little spicy because it's just not true. And there's obviously some ego or ignorance. And I'm not saying like they're dumb. I'm saying that their lack of research, or maybe they haven't read up on it or educated themselves enough. So ego and just or indifference can be there. So again, what I want you to appreciate here is that consider the possibility that your eye doctor, it's not their job to know about all these alternative therapies and all these integrative or holistic ways we can do that. It's kind of on you because it's your eye disease. And I say that respectfully and not accusatory, but it's your eyes, your condition. So that's why you're here, right? So we had 500 people sign up for this course because there is a gap between what conventional medicine offers and what could be available. So we're trying to bridge this gap between conventional and alternative medicine, which again is called integrative medicine, so that you have this roadmap, this path, this strategy that will get you to vision recovery and long-term preservation as you work with your conventional eye doctor, not abandoning them. It's integrative. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So what conditions, the next question we get from patients is which eye conditions can really benefit from our program? Well, most neurodegenerative, I primarily work with neurodegenerative conditions. Again, we talked about acute and or chronic. So acute, again, would be traumatic, eye strokes, there would be eye injuries, there would be retinal detachments, sudden bleeds, things like that. Things that where you're going along and your eyes are fine, all of a sudden there's something that happens. We've had a lot of patients have benign tumors or surgeries or side effects from medications. So that would be more of an acute issue. The chronic situation, again, is more like your macular degeneration, wet and dry, your glaucoma, retinitis pigmentosa, diabetic retinopathy, birdshot, macular myopic degeneration, pattern dystrophy, so on and so forth. You guys get the gist of that. So if you're not sure, if there's a condition that you have, reach out. I can't list every eye condition right now that I've worked with, but I hit the main ones. And if you're not sure, we don't help all eye conditions. And every week, unfortunately, there are folks we have to turn away because I'll only welcome patients into our programs, whether it's at home or in office clinic or telehealth, that I believe I can help. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste your money. And if I don't think there's anything I can do to help, I will recommend something else if I think something else can help. Or if there's nothing, like, look, somebody had an injury and they have like no eyesight, like their optic nerves or their retinas, or there's like I had some cases where people had burns, a case where somebody's malpositioned during surgery, birth, congenital blindness where you have no light perception. If there's no light perception, there's probably not much I can do. That said, if there is some light perception there and you're dealing with a macular issue, an optic nerve issue, a retinal issue, or a visual system, meaning the brain, the eyes, and the optic nerves involved, there's a likelihood we can help. There's something we can do. So again, my cutoff is some conditions, but also if there's no light perception. So that's going to give you guys a little bit of a base. And again, holistic integrative ophthalmology is really what we're after. This idea of bridging both together to get the best outcomes for you guys. Now that we said that, I want to talk a little bit about the online new medical coaching program that we've put together, the Acuvision recovery system. Okay. So I want to start with why did I put this course together? I'm glad you asked. So during COVID, as we all remember, it was about 4 years ago, our clinic got shut down, like many doctors' office did. And I had patients reaching out to me that they couldn't get to me for acupuncture. They could just take their supplements. They don't really have much to do and they're freaking out. And some of our patients I went about a year or so without seeing. And panic set in for a lot of people. And I realized fast that I didn't really have anything beyond what we have in clinic to help people, right? I didn't have an at-home system. I didn't have really anything above some of my lectures that I did that were posted on YouTube, some of the content in Facebook, but I didn't really have a plan, a system, a program, anything that was structural to really help patients at home deal with their conditions. And again, as COVID hit, the reality to me hit that we really need to help people at home deal with these conditions and create a remote experience for those who weren't able to travel. Either they just couldn't physically travel, or it was too far, or maybe there were certain conditions, they were non-ambulatory, maybe financial restrictions or something like that. Whatever it is, I needed to create a new program for people to be able to get the results they were looking for, because there's nothing out there, and provide you guys with solid tools that are research-based and clinically based on my 30 years of experience, having worked with over 10,000 individuals across the world from over 50 different countries. So I wanted to take and that's why it's took me quite a while to do this. We put this together and I really spent a lot of time refining the content inside this program to deliver it to you, hashing out what I thought wasn't really super important and really keeping the golden nuggets. Because when I take courses, and I've done a lot of online courses, I hate the fluff. There's always, not always, a lot of time, there's just a lot of like filler inside courses. And when I teach, those of you guys who've ever, worked with me or seen my live or online talks, it's kind of a fire hose experience. I put an enormous amount of content and it seems overwhelming. Fortunately, like this session, we're recording it so that you guys can go back and review it and mine for some of the golden nuggets in there. So I was very intentional about making this course void of filler, void of fluff, void of stuff that's not useful, not relevant. Okay. And I'm sure over the next, couple of years or 10, 20 years of having this, it's going to evolve. We're going to have different, more and better content as we continue to build this system out. But as I said, about 3 months ago, we did our initial beta test launch for this course with a group of macular degeneration patients, and it worked really, really well. We're wrapping that up, and we wanted to see. It was kind of a test to see how people received it, how the structure of it was going, and we had tremendous feedback. I mean, really, it's so I love it. It's so much fun. I love working with our group, and it's beyond what I thought it was going to be, not only for me but for the individuals as well. So inside this program, what's going to happen? Inside this 12-week program, I show you a 3-step system that helps you recover your vision within 12 weeks. Most of the individuals in our program, we're seeing improvement way beyond that. Like within a couple of weeks, you're starting to see measurable improvements. So what this is it's going to help people who are really struggling, really, and you guys know, some of you may be dealing with early stage, some of you may be dealing with later stage vision loss. Some of you have plateaued, you kind of had some loss and now it's stable. And some of you guys are on the downswing. Some of you guys might be involved in some of these treatments already, and you're seeing some recoveries and some results already. But for those of you who aren't doing anything yet, again, you're either stable or getting worse. That's most likely what's going on. And I know you're dealing with a lot. I know there is mentally a lot of challenges that you're grappling with. I know emotionally there is a lot to deal with, not only for you, but those around you and your like close nuclear family and friends and stuff like that, because there's a lot of emotions that can come up when you're dealing with progressive vision loss. From when you're first diagnosed and told that there's nothing, little or nothing that can be done, it's like, what do you mean? Like, or 2024, there isn't anything yet for these conditions, and it's really disheartening when they quite candidly say no. So we get frustrated, we get upset, kind of go into this fight or flight response where we either bury our head in the sand because we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to deal with the frustration. We want to deal with the anxiety, the worry, the overwhelm, the what if, this doom and gloom. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Even if you're early stage, you just got diagnosed. You go on Google or YouTube or whatever, and you start reading more about these conditions, and you're like, oh my God. Like, are you kidding? Going blind and there's no treatment for this? And they start talking to you about low vision and, maybe there'll be stem cell or genes therapy somewhere down the line. But it creates a lot of unsettling emotions, especially around work, right? Around your ability to produce, around your ability to earn money, to do sports and hobbies and interest, to drive, to be independent, to get around. That's one of the biggest concerns rather that I hear from my patients and people I talk to who are dealing with this. It's like, I'm going to lose my independence. Like, what do I do? What am I going to do if I lose my vision? It's like my life is over. It's really, it's dramatic and appropriately dramatic. And everybody has different ways they deal with stress in terms when they hit the stress response. Some people go all in and they're just like amplify it, magnify it. It's like, oh my God, your whole life becomes about this situation, that you didn't ask for. Sometimes they tell you that it's because you're old or it's genetic or maybe there's some other comorbidity that's dealing with it, but you don't have good clarity in terms of what's causing it, nor what you can do about it. And it can be over consuming. And again, just take over your life. Or like I said, you bury your head in the sand, you want to deal with it. So you just shut down and you make believe like it's not a thing because you just don't want to deal with it. There's too much other stuff going on. So that bruise, neither one is helpful. You're either moaning all over the place, you're crying, you're anxious, you're worried, you're short-tempered, you don't want to talk about it, I don't want you to talk about it, or you're perseverating and just obsessed with the conversation. You just can't get over it and just, ruminating about, worrying about what's going on, and all rightly so, right? Because nobody's giving you direction. There's no hope. There's nothing you can do about it. What do? I get it. It's really, really stressful. It's really, really overwhelming, especially if you're actively in the middle of it where you're seeing progressive vision loss. And maybe it's not you. Maybe you're caring for somebody. Maybe it's one of your partners. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a parent. Maybe it's a child. Maybe it's a cousin, a relative, a coworker. that you're here on this just because you care about them. And that's the part of it, guys. Like, we get so frustrated and so locked up in this own space that we feel so alone and isolated. Like, nobody understands. And that makes it worse because people around you want you to do better. They want to help you. They want to love you. They want to help give you hope and just make things better. Right. And again, maybe you're on this call with somebody you care about, or maybe you're not on this call. Maybe somebody's watching this live and they're going to send it to you. Right. But there's a lot that goes on mentally. You have to problem solve. How am I going to do this? How am I going to, get to work? How long can I work? It's a lot of stuff that builds up in your mind. And I get it. And again, all relevant stuff that is important for you to consider throughout this stuff. So maybe you're having problems with seeing faces. Maybe you got macular issues, central vision issues. You can't read text. You can't read your cell phone, your numbers. You can't read emails. You can't read your books. You have to blow everything up so you can see big fonts. It's harder to read faces, a lot of distortions and stuff like that. Or maybe you have things like retinitis pigmentosa or rod cone dystrophy or Usher's, where you start to have genetic night blindness and your visual fields start to close in. You have a hard time navigating at night, dim lit areas, restaurants, going to movies, going to like company's house where the lights are low, maybe a venue or something like that. It's tough, you kind of want to fall, embarrass yourself, or bump into people. Right? So we want to work on helping expand your visual fields and help you live independently, right? We want to help you read better. We want to help you see faces clear. We want to help blow all this up. Give yourself some relief, some hope that, oh my God, at least it's not getting better. But if we can get worse, if we can get it better, we can oftenly. It's a new word I just made up. Okay, so who is this 12-week online medical group coaching program for? Well, again, it's for any of you guys, whether it's you, a family, a friend, a loved one that's been diagnosed with acute or progressive vision loss condition of the macula, of the retina, of the optic nerve, or the visual system. Okay. And maybe just tired of not being able to read clearly, again, navigating in these dim lights, struggling with night blindness, blurry vision, any of these, all the stuff we talked about. And also it's just, you believe that knowledge is power, which is why you're here, right? You want to know as much as possible because you're not given any relevant, specific, clear information about your condition. Again, most people are just told it's a genetic condition, you're getting old, we don't really know what it is, circulatory issue, who knows? But we do know, and inside this course, I'm going to show you guys what it is, what these driving factors are that are causing your vision loss, either causative and or these factors that accelerate your vision loss. So knowledge is power. Is it important to learn how to manage these conditions with safe and effective at-home treatments? It's what you want, right? This isn't difficult. It's going to require a little bit of work. But this is information. You're going to be given specialized knowledge that not a lot of people have. And if you're serious and committed and ready to do the work and put an end to all this freaking out, or just this even resignation, I hear that a lot too. It's like, I was just so resigned until I heard about the work that you do. This patient's talking to me. I just gave up. So that's one of my favorites, is really reaching people who, obviously I love helping people who are freaking out and they're kind of like in its anxious state or depressed or sad. But it's really the people who've just tapped out and they just give up. They're resigned to the fact that they're going to go blind and just, my doctor said so, and there's nothing else there. But when we turn around, when you see these people start to actually see results, measurable results, objective results, that are metrics, right? Meaning you're reading better. There are vision tests that are actually showing improvement. And you're also starting to see objective improvements. These are objective and subjective improvements, meaning you notice changes. Things look brighter, things look sharper, colors are popping, your visual fields are open, you can read your phone. You go back, I have so many patients all the time, they go back, they're freaking out because their driver's license test is coming up and they're in jeopardy of losing their driver's license. Then It doesn't happen every time, but the majority of cases, they're able to keep their license. So it's like, relief. So what can you expect from this program? Like, what are you going to get out of it? Well, you're going to get results. That's the first thing. Results are what we're all about. And 85 to 90% of participants in these who use our at-home treatment programs see measurable improvements within 12 weeks, most within the first couple of weeks. Most of the patients and participants in these programs that we put together see results within 30 days. Now, because it's a 12-week program, that's kind of our guarantee, because within that time, you will definitely see recovery and preservation and definitely stabilization. But you have to do some of the work, right? No, I'm not going to do it for you. And that's why it's at home. Patients who want more of me being involved in doing more work, they usually come to clinic, which is a conversation we're going to have a little later on today. So again, what do people see? They see faces easier, their night vision's better, expanded visual fields, keeping your driver's license, right? Independence is the biggest factor. Everybody wants independence and be able to live their life the way they want to live it, right? So it's worth looking into that as a possibility. And my goal is to help you recover your vision and preserve the vision. That's it. Our program is very simple. Help recover vision if we can, then help you keep what you got. That's it, using our very specific strategic method. And it's not a lot of work. A lot of people say, oh my God, it's going to be so much work. It's so overwhelming. It's really not. It's a lot of information because it's new to you, right? So some of the concepts are going to be a little bit foreign, but I do a very good job at breaking down the content so you understand it. We do it very slowly, very deliberately. We have opportunities where we have Q&A sessions so you can ask questions, right? This is a very patient-driven, participant-driven process where anything that you're not clear about or you need more on or you don't understand, we need to make sure that you do. That's what this whole thing's about. So the program is delivered on an online portal or through an online portal. We have a platform that we use. There are 12 training modules that cover every little nuance for recharging, recovering, and retaining your vision inside our Acuvision recovery system. Your metrics will improve. And we're going to give you tools to do at-home vision testing. All right. So you'll not only be able to notice subjectively things that you're seeing improve, but you're also going to have a system and tools to actually measure your results at home. And it depends. Different eye conditions need different tools, right? If you have macular degeneration, for example, your reading is really what it's all about in wavy lines. So the eye charts are going to be really important for you for that, and things like the Amsler grid. Now, if you have things like peripheral vision loss, like either glaucoma, retinitis pigmentosa, or diabetic retinopathy, your peripheral visual fields are going to be not great. So we're going to show you how to manage and monitor your visual fields. Also, things like contrast vision is really important for rod function. So we're going to give you guys these tools and show you how. We're also going to show you how to read your doctor's reports. When you go to your eye doctors and you get these OCTs, these fundus imaging, you get these written reports with diagnostics, like most people don't know what those are, how to read them. They're your reports. It's very important. If you're inclined to read these, it's my opinion that you should. They're your eyes. You don't have to go to med school, but these reports are not very difficult to understand. So you want to make sure that when you get these reports from your eye doctors, that you understand what the language that's being used inside of these reports, as well as what the diagnostic imaging is showing you. Very, very important. You'll also learn what causes the degenerative vision loss conditions. What are these stress factors that are, again, both causative and will accelerate your vision loss if they're not managed? Okay? So each module is released weekly. And we do that intentionally because we know that you guys need some time. You're busy, need some time to get through it. And we don't want to rush you. That's part of it. We just don't want to rush through the course. We know you're busy. Sometimes you can't get to the computer. And again, you could watch it on your laptop. You could watch it on your desktop, your tablets, your phone, whatever. but we made it very easy and accessible for you guys. So I want to break down real quick for you guys what the modules are, because I know a couple of people are already asking about that. So I want to get to that. What is in the course? So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of all 12 modules inside the 12-week course. So the first month is about first 4 weeks is about creating this foundation of eye health, where we really focus on the recovery, specifically the recharge, the regeneration, and the retention. So we're looking in the first module, week 1, we're going to go a review of the basic eye anatomy and the actual mechanism of how we actually see, right? We're going to dive into this because it's important. It's your eyes. You should have a general understanding of what they work, what some of the anatomical structures are, so you have a point of reference. Then in module 2, we're going to go into how the Acuvision recovery system actually works. And we're going to provide you with the at-home vision testing tools so you guys can monitor your own vision. In module 3, we're going to talk about the nature of acute and degenerative vision loss conditions. Again, these are those key factors, the specific factors that will both cause and accelerate your degenerative vision loss or acute vision loss if they're not identified and managed. Very, very important module. This is one of the most important nodules because it is the foundation of what causes these progressive eye diseases and what you can do to manage them. Now, module 4, we're going to talk about systemic health factors that cause vision loss. So this is an expansion. So module 3, we cover these main factors that are kind of universal to ocular degeneration conditions. In module 4, we jump into the systemic factors, the cardiovascular system. We look at the hormonal system, the endocrine system, the hepatic detox system, fat metabolism, chronic viruses and bacteria infections, all of these systems and how they can impact your vision, right? None of this is talked about in conventional ophthalmology. None of it. You're never going to find any of this anywhere. So that's the first four modules in the first month. Then the second third of this is we're going to talk about enhancing your vision. These are strategies and habits for your vision recovery. This is the nuts and bolts of what we're getting after. So 5, we talk about very, very, very specific diet and food strategies to help with things like inflammation and getting the specific key right foods for your eyes and how to leverage dieting and even fasting and what foods will accelerate your vision loss and what will accelerate vision recovery. We also go into environmental toxins and things that are very harmful. This is something you may not be aware of, and it's very important. There are chemicals in our foods, in our personal hygiene products that we use that can be very devastating to your vision. And this, again, is nowhere. Nobody's talked about this. This is critical information that you're not aware of. Then module 7, we do a very, very deep dive into the stress factors of blue light and ultraviolet radiation and how that impacts your vision. So important. Everybody has cell phones now, right? On screens, cell phones, tablets, TVs, all this blue light radiation is really messing our eyes up. We need to have a very serious conversation about that. Then module 8, we go into hydration, sleep, and stress. All right, we talk about these lifestyle factors that are seemingly, but I'm going to talk specifically how and why they're so important and how to improve these with a lot of different methods. You may not think, I don't sleep so well. Did you know how much that has to do with your vision recovery? A lot. Hydration, drink. It's important to understand these. I'm going to get too into it if I don't stop there. So then the third section is really about the at-home therapies and the strategies for better vision and long-term vision. This is more about the prevention and the long-term vision recovery and preservation, the retention part of it. So this is where we really dive into the specific at-home therapies, how to use them to recover and preserve your vision, exactly what we're going to recommend for you guys. Then module 10, we're going to talk about how do you prevent the progression. Right now that we've recovered some vision, what do we do to help you keep what you got? Module 11, we talk about specific use of ophthalmic acupuncture and Chinese medicine, the 2,500 years plus of empirical study that's from East Asia, Japan, Korea, and China, and their thousands of years of understanding these diseases and how it's applicable to you, right? Again, just because there aren't, tons of, as much research as some of the drugs out there doesn't mean they're not as useful. And then finally, module 12, we're going to put it all together, create this whole lifestyle for you guys and how everything is, how it works for you guys so that you have a plan for the rest of your life going forward. Mindset, skill set, what's your plan? What's your big vision? How are you going to apply it? And what do you do when you get off track? Right? That's a big part of this too. So what is the offer that we're offering you guys? Most of you guys probably saw in the emails that went out, but I want to reiterate it for you. So we're offering this 12-week program, the Acuvision Recovery System, which is an online medical group coaching program that normally retails for $3,000, 12 weeks with me inside this course. And we're chopping off $1,000 from it. So for Black Friday, it's $2,000 instead of $3,000. Actually, it's $1,997. Then we have the ACS 3000 that a lot of you guys have been asking out as well. We're kicking off $500. So instead of $2,500, it's $1,997. So again, saving over $500 on that. Now, those of you guys who have the ACS 3000 and want to jump into the course, you can do that. Some of you guys are just interested in the ACS 3000 and you can purchase that this weekend, Black Friday. We're extending this through the weekend at the discounted rate. And this is the last time we're offering this discount for this ACS unit at this price. Okay. So we're taking off $500 off the ACS, $1,000 off the 12-week program. Now, if you want to get both of them together, it's $1,500 off. So instead of $5,500, it's $3,997 off of both. So again, $1,500 in savings for those of you guys who are looking for both of them. And we're adding $450 in bonuses. Free shipping. We're giving you guys the eye qigong videos for free as well. We're giving you guys the audio version of the Healing Your Eyes with Chinese Medicine. And you also get an extra 12 months of extra sponges with your ACS 3000. So that's that. So again, if you guys have any questions on that, if you're not clear about that, please let me know. I will, we'll answer more questions. You guys can either email us, you can jump into our support at Eye Health Institute and answer questions there. So right now, what I want to do, we're about 40 minutes in. I want to spend at least a half hour going through your questions. So I'm going to start with what you guys posted in the chat, and then I'm going to move over to the Q&A sessions. So let's start with that. Okay. So let's see. Chat's open now. Okay, so first question, does the ACS help for uveitis? Yes. So uveitis is a autoimmune condition, right? It's definitely something that is chronic of nature, and we're trying to get people into remission with that. So can help with the inflammation, but it is, again, used as part of a comprehensive recovery system. So the ACS alone is definitely not going to do it. It's going to help a lot with the circulation. It's going to help manage the inflammation. It's going to help just help the cells repair and regenerate. But we need to deal with the underlying autoimmune system factors. So absolutely will help uveitis, but we need supplements. So getting in the course and or doing a telehealth will be really important for that. My next one, my GP says with macular degeneration, I should not take vitamin A or quercetin. Some of the supplements have low dose of these. Yeah, I disagree with that 100%. Quercetin's great. Vitamin E is a carotenoid antioxidant, arguably one of the most important nutrients for macular degeneration. So I would say absolutely take things like vitamin A, lutein, zeaxanthin, stuff like that, so on and so forth. Okay. Next one is there a way to revive dead rods and cones? Great question, Bill. So once they're dead, okay? Once rods and cones are gone, they're gone. There's nothing we could do about that. But the important thing to know there is we don't know if they're dead or alive yet. conventional ophthalmology goes on a binary theory that nerve cells are dead alive. They don't understand the idea around dormant cells that are sleeping and damaged and sick cells that can be repaired and regenerated. It's likely and probable that some of these, quote, dead cells are not dead. They're sleeping or this dysfunctional. So inside this first year of recovery, definitely in the first 12 weeks, we're trying to recover and revive. Nerve cells will take about 8 to 15 months to repair and regenerate, up to 2 years. So in the first year, we can repair and recover these cells that are probably dormant. A portion of them are sleeping, dormant, and some are damaged and sick. But dead is dead. Fibrosis, gone. Nerve cells, once they're gone, they're gone. Let's see here. What about stem cell therapy for the eyes? It is still not there yet. So I believe there's a lot of applications for stem cells. We have not seen any real traction with eye conditions. Now, that said, I think there is definitely a place for traumatic injury eye issues because stem cells are awesome when there's acute injury. Currently, seemingly not so effective for neurodegenerative conditions, and partially because I believe that there is no insufficiency of stem cells. So it's a different strategy. However, that said, devices like the alternating current stimulation, or ACS 3000, do help the body to generate and migrate stem cells and nerve growth factors to the eyes to accelerate repair and regeneration. So really important concept there for you guys to understand. I'm interested in the red light therapy. I've already read A Small Machine, but don't know how to close stand in front of the. Oh, so I think you're talking. That's June. I think you're talking about the panels. Great question, June. So I need to know more about your specific light therapy device, and I can't get to that now. But I will say that we are just this coming week, and so many people reaching out to us. I didn't want to kind of cross streams with our Black Friday offers that we're doing and our Cyber Monday offer, but we do have new red light therapy glasses in clinic. So guys, pay attention. We're going to be sending content out early this week on that. So I don't want to spoil that because I want to stay relevant and specific to this conversation. But I do have a lot of information coming out starting this week on red light therapy. Okay. So just look out for that. How effective is this treatment for RP? Extremely. Retinitis pigmentosa is one of the most common treatments and conditions I've seen over the last 30 years. It is absolutely, even our at-home treatments and the in-office treatments are incredibly beneficial for recovering vision and slowing and preserving vision for folks with RP and Usher syndrome, as well as rod cone dystrophy and cone rod dystrophy. Inflammation and dry eyes after cataract surgery, chemotherapy, just finished, LipoFlow. So those are pretty good. Dry eyes, very common after cataract surgery. You can use, again, things like our Lipovision drops. You can use aqueous-based solutions to help with the inflammation. It's a dry factor. So the other thing you can also consider is CAN-C, NAC, and acetylcarnosine eye drops, which will help accelerate the recovery. In clinic, we also like to use molecular hydrogen therapy goggles. Those work really, really well for accelerating post-op recovery from cataract surgery, as well as any other surgery, corneal transplants, after things people have like Fuchs membrane, also after people get the corrective surgeries as well for those types of conditions. Can you help geographic atrophy? Yes. So again, geographic atrophy is an advanced macular degeneration where the scar tissue starts accumulating in the macula. The faster we get to that, the better, because it's almost like once that fibrosis starts, it's really hard to break it down. So again, we'll use our therapies, but FYI, one of the best things you can use for geographic atrophy is MSM eye drops. We recommend that all the time for patients to help prevent and reduce scarring. MSM is one of the few supplements and nutrients that we found to be very, very useful for breaking down scar tissue. All right, let's keep going here. Stats G, and also the ACS 3000 is tremendous. We've had so many patients with geographic atrophy, again, kind of late stage with macular degeneration, that we've seen not only functional improvements, but we go back and we look at the OCTs and you could see the scar tissue starting to break down. You know, those big plaques that start to show up, those of you guys who have geographic atrophy or seen it, there's these big like white plaque spots that show up that are synonymous with geographic atrophy, and those absolutely improve structurally as well as we see functional improvement. Can I help with geographic atrophy? We've talked about that. Acupuncture's been using my protocols for glaucoma, hoping to get some professional ideas. Yes. So, Wendy, I am 2025. I'm offering some more classes. So I don't get too into that for this training, but yeah, keep on our Facebook group, the microacupuncture group. And I always announce my trainings there in 2025. We're going to put out a new training for acupuncturists. Retinal detachments, absolutely. I see a ton of folks with retinal detachments. Both our at-home treatments and our in-office treatments is great for that. Of course, if there's a retinal detachment, retinal tear, vitreous detachment, get it checked out first. I want to talk to patients until they've been cleared with their ophthalmologist or retinal specialist. It's reattached. It's been dealt with. Anybody who calls our office for anything that's sudden or acute, we're always recommending that they talk to their eye doctors first, get everything clear, let them do the diagnostics to make sure that you're safe. Once you're safe, then we come out and we talk about what we can do to follow up. Looking to purchase a hyperbaric chamber for, Gail says she had an eye stroke, CRVO. And the doctor says will only help CRAO. So VO is vein occlusion, AO is artery occlusion. Absolutely not. Will absolutely help with both. You can get a hyperbaric unit. There's a couple. When Gail, email me on the side or text me. I can give you very specifics on that. I have a company that I deal with, but to answer your question, hyperbaric oxygen is super effective for both CRVO and CRAO and NAION and any eye stroke. So I highly recommend if you either go get hyperbaric therapy or you get your own, again, reach out to me. I'll give you some specifics on that. Christy, I've heard about red light therapy. Would love to know if you can help with presbyopia. I don't know about presbyopia, but it's worth a shot. I'm going to start trying it as well for myself on that. Obviously, I'm over 50 and starting to get this thing, and it's improved. I got it managed, but I'm excited to see if the red light therapy is going to help with that. So that is stay tuned for that. Does it work for CSR? Yes, my wife actually had CSR, which is I got very, very heavy into. CSR is central serous retinopathy, where you have edema or fluid that builds up behind the macula or in the retina. A lot of our therapies, our at-home therapies are super, super effective, and our new red light therapy is going to be incredible amplifier for that. So absolutely. So somebody says that an issue with their ACS 3000 where the sponge was only good for one use. So some people don't do well with the sponges, guys. So because of that, what we did is we created a new mask that we're just getting in probably later this month. Most people do fine with the sponges. We got a couple of people who are struggling with that. So if you're having any issues, I don't want to get too into it, Larry, not to blow you off, but if you have any specific issues or tech support that you need with your ACS, please email me or my team. We'll absolutely get you taken care of and get on that tap. We have so many questions, 153 questions. So I got to rip through these, but Larry, definitely hit our tech support on that, and we'll keep moving through that. So some right devices have heard about the benefits for eyes. We don't know where to begin. Yes, that's Angel. Look out for our emails coming out and our posts about red light therapy. We have a new product. It's like $150. It's super affordable, and you guys are going to love it. It's super safe, no side effects, really, really easy to use. Treatments are going to be like 3 minutes. I swear I was going to get into this, but you guys keep asking about it. IV ozone for vision loss. Not into it. I tried ozone for years, about 15 years ago. About 2 years, I gave it a big go because I read about the studies done in Cuba. I tried it. We didn't see a single improvement with it. And I know there are other doctors out there who are recommending it. In my opinion, it is way too damaging. It's too oxidative. And I'm just not, I'm a fan of ozone therapy for other conditions. The retina and macula is just too sensitive. And it's so ozone is the highest natural oxidizing treatment that we know of. So retina, macula, Rod cone cells, glial cells are very sensitive to oxidative stress and free radicals. And when you're doing ozone therapy, you're creating more of them. So not a fan of that. The sponge or the liquid seems to burn. Okay, somebody mentioned that. So try water, try tap water or try spring water on that. It's the some people are sensitive to the saline when you're using the ACS. So those of you guys who get irritation with it, either reduce the intensity of the ACS or try to switch from salt to spring water. That'll help well. And if those of you guys who are really struggling with it, we do have our new masks that we're going to put on that you can actually see out of. They're really cool. Again, in a couple weeks, we're going to put information about that. Outcomes of patients with lattice degeneration from Barbara. Yes, I have seen less lattice degeneration. I wouldn't say it's one of the most common conditions I've seen, but I've probably seen about 3 or 4 dozen lattice degeneration cases. Absolutely super awesome responses, same as most of the other conditions. We see really, really good results with that. Structurally, you know what I'm talking about. We see the lattice degeneration, it's how it's diagnosed. And functionally, we see tremendous improvement, not only in terms of vision recovery, but also vision preservation. Next one, MDs are worried about, yes, great point. MDs are worried about litigation and they won't step outside the box. Thank you for that comment. Exactly. I have a lot of friends who are doctors and eye doctors, and they just can't make the recommendation because even though they know, like, and trust me, if something bad happens and they say, hey, yeah, acupuncture could be beneficial, but you go to somebody who has little or no training, like a lot of physical therapists or chiropractors now, they take a weekend course. In many states, they can do acupuncture, dry needling. If they do harm, then it could be a lawsuit against a physician. So Greg, thanks for making that comment. Really accurate. Derek, could treatments make 9 worse? Absolutely not. Thanks for that question, Derek. Our treatments will never make anything worse. Worst case scenario, worst case, it's just not going to do anything in terms of improvement, but will absolutely help recover vision. The treatments we do will do no harm. So again, sometimes people may feel a little itching, discomfort, but you're never going to make your eye condition worse. So important. Great comment there. All right, we'll move down here. I'm curious about the research behind AC device, but its effectiveness, perhaps what adverse response. So Tamar, great question. So most of the alternating current research has been done in Germany. Dr. Fedorov and Dr. Sable have done most of the legwork, and the research originally started for optic nerve issues. And then once we did our research study using alternating current stimulation with our Nova Southeastern and Johns Hopkins studies, we recognized the benefits for conditions like macular degeneration and retinitis pigmentosa and those types of conditions, as well as optic nerve issues. So negative responses. The only time I don't recommend this is for people who have very frequent uncontrolled ocular migraines, people who have seizure disorders or epilepsy, people who trigger migraines easy, or people who some people just can't, or very what's the word I'm looking for? Hypersensitive. They must have sensory issues, right? They just don't like the way things feel on their face. Or if you have sensory issues, probably you might want to try it. And then we offer a 30-day guarantee. So if you try it and you have sensory issues or it's something not working for you, you'll usually know in the first 30 days if there's an issue. So we do offer that, but you can't do harm again. The only thing I've heard is sometimes patients turn it up too high early on. You give yourself a little bit of a headache because it's overstimulating. But if you follow our directions according to what we recommend, you're not going to have any problems. So let's see. Does a red light therapy help people with RP? Yes, the research is showing it does. I live in Canada. Do we have offices there? No, Kevin. We only have our office here in New Jersey. So we do have a lot of patients flying from all around the world, including Canada. So we do offer both at-home and in-office treatments. If you're interested in those, reach out. We can talk to you more about those. Kim, stem cell did not work for my husband. Optic nerve was damaged during laminectomy. Anything else out there? Yeah, stem cells can be helpful for some cases if it's traumatic. But again, either in-office clinic or using the ACS, using red light therapy, using molecular hydrogen, hyperbaric, so on and so forth. All these recommendations, and we give you specific guidelines in our course on how to do that. Also, if you do telehealth. So we're giving you guys a lot of options here. Elvira, macular degeneration, 4 years, 7 months eye disease. What do you recommend? So I would recommend, again, for most of you guys who are asking these types of questions, either in office, at home, and the at home can be a telehealth, and or you guys can jump into the 12-week course. So that's that. All right. What's my opinion of astaxanthin doing a possible dosage trade? Astaxanthin's great. Again, just another carotenoid antioxidant. Super effective for that. Carotenoid antioxidants are critical. If you guys want to go on my YouTube page, I have a webinar that I did called Cataracts and Carotenoids. I highly recommend you guys watch that. Super effective, especially if you're looking for more information on cataracts and also carotenoid antioxidants. What about the floaters after eye injections and acupuncture? You should never get floaters after acupuncture. Very, very seldom. Once in a while, if there's a lot of garbage that's built up there, but usually acupuncture will help clear up the floaters if they're done right. You can, however, hydrate because floaters will come out from hydration. Hyaluronic acid is also very, very valuable for that. So let's keep going. Let's see. So we got I'm going to keep going for about a half hour with your guys' questions here because I want to make sure we get to these. So we're about an hour into this, and I'm happy to keep going as long as I can with these. We're going to give this about another half hour of questions. So let's see. Next one is Leo. How's your acupuncture different than regular acupuncture? Great question. So regular acupuncture is whole body acupuncture. And we go into this very detailed inside the 12-week program. It's called ophthalmic acupuncture. Ophthalmic acupuncture is, there are hundreds of acupuncture systems. There's acupuncture points. There's over 1,000 empirical acupuncture points. There's hundreds of different acupuncture systems and protocols. Ophthalmic acupuncture, the difference is our research and clinical understanding of specific protocols, points, and methods of using acupuncture that are specifically unique to helping eye conditions, right? So there's also fertility acupuncture, where it helps with fertility. There is Bell's palsy acupuncture, where that helps with Bell's palsy or strokes. So there are different systems, and the focus is on figuring out which points, protocols, and systems work better for eye disease. And that's what I've been doing in my practice over the last 30 years so that I can help better understand and through trial and error to figure out which systems are best. So that was a great question. Macular pucker. Yeah, so macular pucker often is like a dimple that happens. So macular pucker you could have is usually a precursor to a macular hole. Sometimes it's the eye pressure is too low where you get a wrinkle. So one of the things I like for macular pucker is I usually start with treatment. ACS, we also add hyaluronic acid to get a little bit more fluid in there, and sometimes that could smooth out the pucker of the roll. But if you have more specific questions on that, Brenda, you can reach out to me, watch some more videos, consider jumping into the course, or even do a telehealth. Let's see, Chris, BRA, branch occlusion, happened 3 years ago, tried a few things, didn't help. Anything to do now? Yeah. So I learned this early on, Chris. When I first started practicing, I was involved in a post-stroke study, brain stroke, where we went to a rehab center called Kessler in New Jersey, big rehab center. And we got a grant to do research. And I was practicing maybe 2 years. And the results that I saw after people who had strokes for like 10 and 20 years was unbelievable. And I don't want to spend too much time getting into that, but that was my first like, oh, wow. Like, you figure this stuff is like real old, happened years ago, sometimes decade ago. And you kind of tend to write it off. But no, and the thing to take away with that, and the important factor, Chris, is that there are still likely to be some cells that are still dormant. And if we can stimulate those cells and wake them up, with the electrotherapies like the alternating current stimulation, and get the right nutrients, we might be able to nurse at least some of them back to health. Now, it's likely and probable that there is some permanent damage, but we could still try to recover some of them. Tried acupuncture by someone, didn't help, but only had 12 intensive treatments. Look, for some of these two, you got to give it a month. Hyperbaric oxygen, definitely worth trying. Alternating current, highly, highly recommend. So hit me up, Chris, if you want to talk more about that, and we can look a little bit into your case a little further. Let me keep going here. Suffering with optic nerve atrophy. Absolutely, the ACS will help. Supplements, nutrition. There's a lot. Optic nerve atrophy is one of the most common conditions I treat as well. Red light therapy from Art. Yes, talked about that a little bit. Uh, Geographic atrophy, yes. We talked about that a little bit. Again, some of these are redundant. I'm just moving through here. Next one is your treatments. Has your treatments ever reduced eye pressure from glaucoma? Yes. So we've effectively not yes and yes. So we've been able to reduce eye pressure in a lot of patients. Some patients early stage get them off eye pressure meds. In a lot of cases, reduce the frequency and quantity of eye drops patients use. So even if you're stuck on the drops, we've reduced the need to how often and how frequent. And some people are on like 3, 4, 5 eye drops for their eye pressure, gotten it down to 1 or 2, and even every couple of days. So a lot of times, you guys know these eye drops can be very inflammatory and very irritating. So yes, has your treatments ever helped with NAION? Frequent condition. Yeah, we see NAION all the time. And again, I have some videos on that if you guys want to check, but NAION has exploded since COVID. Eye strokes have gone off the charts. Same as brain strokes. One of my buddies is a works as a cardiologist and works with a lot of brain strokes. And another buddy who's a neurologist I was talking to, and they agree and echo my sentiment in seeing that, these cardiovascular issues, brain strokes, eye strokes have been off the charts because of, we believe, the damage that the spike proteins, whether you got really sick or not, the spike proteins have really done a major damage to a lot of people's vascular systems. Red light therapy, commented on that. Will the program help my condition? Let me scroll down here real quick. One sec. With maculopathy coupled by late-stage geographic atrophy. Again, will help slow down. You can recover some vision. Right now, if you're reading 20/40, that is pretty good. And there's a large spot near the macula. That could be the drusen, or that could be some scar tissue. So I would need to look at the OCTs on that to see what's doing, but absolutely highly recommend that. The late stage geographic atrophy. I will say if they say late stage geographically and you're still reading 20/40, you're probably not as late stage as you think. And again, we could talk more about that. Dry eye interfere with recovery? Absolutely not. And we have a lot of treatments for dry eye, including the lipovision, using a lipovision DHA, the lipovision drops, our molecular hydrogen treatment. Again, with dry, it's important to really understand where the dry is coming from. So we got to dive into that. And that's why we get such amazing results with our dry eye patients, almost 100%, because conventional eye docs are just giving you topical drops without understanding with your specific case where the dry eye is coming from. Optic neuritis, we see a ton of that as well, either from MS or thing like ocular Lyme or other autoimmune inflammatory conditions. What can I do if my sight is worse after, there we go, after the COVID vaccine? So often there's long COVID. We need to look at that. So there's usually inflammatory issues, clotting issues, long COVID issues. Galina, I think that's what you're, I'm sorry, Desiree asked that. So I see a ton of that. COVID wrecked a lot of people's eyesight. I had patients come in who never had eye issues, had an onset macular degeneration right after they had COVID or the vaccine. They had an onset of glaucoma, onset of spontaneous retinitis pigmentosa, right? Just out of nowhere. Like in their 50s, we've seen this. I had an eye doctor, one of the top eye doctors at Mount Sinai in New York, called me up during COVID. He blew out two of his optic nerves. He knew conventional medicine had nothing to offer for him. Nothing. This is one of the top eye doctors in Manhattan. Called me up. He was in my office every day for a month with his wife. Right. I was working on him. We got 80% of the vision back. He just emailed me a couple months ago telling me just, how grateful he was, because he knew that he had nothing for him. They had steroids. That was it. And then it's, Viacon Dios. They don't have anything. So, okay, let me move down here. Yeah, I can get on a big soapbox about the detriments of that. Can you talk about apalmitate? Again, yeah, Dr. Burson did a lot of research with vitamin A. Yeah, so vitamin A is really important. The only conditions, and that's Krista, the only people that shouldn't be taking large doses of vitamin A, again, anything over 25,000 IU a day is a lot. But look, if you have Stargardt's, that's the only condition that really shouldn't be taking vitamin A. There are some research that says if you used to smoke, there may be a risk for increased cancer if you take vitamin A. I'm not sure about that. I read the study. I'm just not ready to buy into that yet. So I'm not sure about that. Red light therapy, again, we talked about that. Frequencies, guys, art, check, be on alert for that. We're going to be putting content out. Desiree, vitamins, minerals, fats, and disease. So yes, so we do dive very, very deeply inside our 12-week program, as we do with our telehealth consultations, about which specific nutrients are going to benefit each specific condition. So guys, real quick on that. So there is supplements that are going to be general for eye health. Then there are going to be supplements that are specifically beneficial for your eye condition. And then there are going to be more specific supplements that you need specifically because you have unique issues going on that other people with glaucoma, macular degeneration, RP, or whatever do not have. So we need the generals for eye conditions, the generals for your condition, and then we need to fine tailor which nutrients are going to be critical for your specific condition that must be addressed and identified. Let's see here. My questions just, yeah, Blaine, if you want to jump on and read those, that would be awesome. That would be great because I'm just scrolling through here and my scroll isn't doing so great. My dry AMD went wet last year. Okay, so development from dry to wet through getting shots. Okay, been using red lights and saunas. My methylene blue, great. DMSO. DMSO, I'm not sure about that. I'm not recommending it, and I'm not recommending it. I just don't know. I know all about DMSO. I read the articles. I'm not so sure. I need to do more research on DMSO before I recommend that. Not all at once. I think they're great. I like methylene blue a lot. Red light saunas, general health, not so much. But Dave, there's a lot more I think you could do, specifically the ACS 3000. Some other things, maybe hyperbaric oxygen. Again, that's some more stuff that we can talk about getting into the specifics. Kevin, I have dry macular degeneration. It has advanced geographic atrophy. Absolutely useful. Highly recommend it. I'd say probably 30% of my patients with dry macular degeneration do have geographic atrophy. So ocular discomfort, light is uncomfortable. Great question. So Gerard says, I have ocular discomfort and light makes it uncomfortable. Guys, really important thing. I'm going to give you guys a hack here. If you have light sensitivity, photophobia, you have inflammation. And you guys know have been following me. That's one of the major factors that cause and accelerate these eye conditions. If you have light sensitivity, you have active inflammation going on of your visual system, your retina, your optic nerve, and or your brain. So that is a factor that needs to be managed. Now, that said, you can have inflammation without having light sensitivity. But if you have light sensitivity, definitely have inflammation. And there's a lot that we can do. Typically we look at things like our Acuvision CBD. We look at anti-inflammatories. Again, Gerard, with that, we need to source the inflammation. Where is it coming from? We could do things like turmeric or CBD, anti-inflammatories, but we need to find out what's driving the inflammation in order to manage it. What can I do on low blood pressure? Not clear about that. I don't know if you're asking for high blood pressure or low blood pressure. If you have low blood pressure and want to increase it, exercise can help, as can sea salt. Celtic sea salts can help increase that. I have an itchy nose, so excuse me. Mild cataracts. Best thing to do is NAC eye drops. We use Can-C, really, really good for that. Husband has a retinal vein occlusion, absolutely hyperbaric. With our CRVO, either in office, telehealth, or in-office clinic. I will say this, guys. I'm not one to really push people into treatment. If you or somebody you know has an eye stroke, the sooner you get in for treatment, the better. This is one of those things. And I know I talked earlier that even though it's gone on for a while, we can still help it. But if you're new and it's happened the last couple months, get in. The oxygen has to get to those cells. The faster you get in, the better your results are going to be. And again, I'm not saying that I can't help you if it's happened a couple of years ago, but if it's recent, do something. Get in, start treatment, start your ACS, get on hyperbaric, jump in the course, at least jump on a telehealth with me so that we can start to game plan your recovery. And make sure it doesn't happen in the other eye, because it can, right? Big concern there. Eye doctors don't talk about that too much. 11-year-old child who has been diagnosed with, okay, yeah. So, shoot, I just lost that. Give me one sec here. Okay. Treatment for floaters. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Or using hyaluronic acid, hydration. Seems to make my vision worse with the drying. Yeah, for sure. So hyaluronic acid will help with that. Stay hydrated. Floaters get in the way. It's just more stuff that's obstructing your vision. I hear it. Louis D, have you helped patients have been dealing with visual snow? Yeah. So Louis, great question. Visual snow is a bad signal. Like when you can't get a good signal on your phone, or back in the day when we couldn't get a good signal on TV and we have to like stand and hold the rabbit ears or put tin foil on them. It's a bad signal called when we need to improve the neurocoherence. Often visual snow can be driven by inflammation and poor nerve conduction, but again, can help. I need to figure out what's driving the visual snow. Once we figure that out, we can absolutely help. The Regeneron injections for AMD, so-so. So I think the wet macular degeneration injections are great. I've had a bunch of patients, not many, do the geographic atrophy injections. None of them have said they've seen improvements yet. The idea is they may help slow it down. I'm a little concerned about the risks because it says it can accelerate things like wet macular degeneration. It can cause infections. So I'm not 100%, I'm not there yet in terms of being on board with the injections for geographic atrophy. I need to see more cases. I know what it says online and the pharmaceutical companies recommend, but nothing past that. Okay. Patient with beta test. Yes. Oh, Robbie, you're the best. Thank you for giving us a shout out for the AMD course. Zane, diabetic insulin, right eye retina is damaged, can't see from the eyes now, guys, getting very blurry. Right, we got to get on this. And I think I may have mentioned this. Diabetic retinopathy is the fastest of all the conditions that I treat to respond, along with dry eye. The retinal conditions, the fastest is definitely our diabetic retinopathy. I don't know why, but we see the fastest results from those patients. Birdshot uveitis, ACS will help. Absolutely. Again, Ashley, we need to do a little bit more than just the ACS. It will help, but we need to really deal with the underlying autoimmune factors, the inflammation, and get the immune system dampen out because that's what's driving the inflammation. ACS will help a lot, but it's not going to deal with these underlying factors that we need to do both, right? So the ACS is going to help the branch, help your eyes heal, but we need to deal with these underlying factors, this autoimmune stuff. Cone rod dystrophy, absolutely. Again, in that RP family, we see a lot of that. Let's see, diabetic retinopathy, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and let's see. There's a lot that we can do to help that. Again, Ricky, inside our at-home telehealth, the 12-week programs, either in clinic, any of those will be absolutely useful. How do we order sponges? Yes, just call our office or go online. Kelly, not getting answers for doctors. Yeah, Zane, I hear that, buddy. That is just, I hear that every week. People are so frustrated, which is why we're doing this. You guys need answers. You are, I don't like the word entitlement or deserving it, but you guys definitely, you deserve it. You do deserve it. You're dealing with this. You're looking for help. I've done this. I've done the work. So this is why we're doing this. Yeah, and they don't have answers. They don't, and they pretend like they do, but they don't sometimes. And I don't too. I don't have answers all the time. And when I don't, I admit it. I said, I really know. That's it. To say it's really easy. I don't know. Any thoughts on blue light screens? Yes, Leo. Huge module that we go into blue light. Huge problem. Huge problem. And what I'm going to say about that is, unfortunately, there's going to be a new early epidemic of macular degeneration because people are not taking care of their eyes and not taking seriously the effects of blue light. Okay. So a couple more questions and I'm going to jump onto the Q&A. Red light therapy, a lot of red light therapies. Let's see. Okay. So there are those. Let me jump onto some of the Q&As. Again, if I did not get to your question, I apologize. We got a lot We had like 300 people in and out of here. So I'm going to go through them and I'm going to just kind of help you guys get in there. So does therapy help optic nerve hyperplasia? Yes. Stargardt's, can we use the information given? Yes. Stargardt's very, very effective. We see a lot of Stargardt's cases. Stargardt's is tough. Like I'm not gonna dance around that. Stargardt is definitely, out of all the cases, I would say it's among the more challenging of all the cases we do that. Notice brightness. So I've been using the ACS, Cindy. Notice brightness and the lights have diminished. Okay, so Cindy, there's a couple things with that. One is your body gets used to it, like everything else. So when you first start using the ACS, your body's going to get used to it, which is why you have to increase the the intensity. Also, the other thing is, we've noticed, those of you guys who are ordering and have them already, we recommend saline, and I'm actually thinking of not recommending it. Saline, the reason we recommend saline is because it conducts electricity the easiest and the softest, more softer and easier than regular tap water. The one thing that we've seen is that the salt water does damage the round gray discs that you put the sponges in, which means that we basically have to help you guys replenish those discs more often. Now, that can be a thing if you're noticing, those of you guys who have the ACS, if you're noticing that after a year or so of having it, that the salt water, those of you guys who live by the beach know this, will start to break down the rubber in there. So we'll send you another batch, no problem. If you need that, just let us know. We could send you new discs. Okay. Okay, remote treatment for your mom has macular degeneration, cataracts. So we can come in. So we do have both. Again, we just launched the 12-week program. So before launching this, we either had in-office or telehealth. So now there's another option. So Cindy, for your mom, or you guys could either come in office. If that's not possible, then of course we can do a telehealth, and or we can do the definitely consider the 12-week online course, because you didn't do it. Every week in the course, we go on and we have a live Q&A session that is obviously not to this magnitude where we have 300 people on the call, but we do have a lot of people. And we have time. Everybody gets time to answer questions. So you guys get direct access to me for the entire duration of the course, and then you're still with me afterwards. Okay, let me move down here. Okay, Stuart, is there a dietary plan for supplements for RP? Yes, we go through that in the program. Generally, I recommend like a more of an alkaline diet, more of a again, we go into this very deeply, but start with the alkaline diet. Mediterranean diet is good, but in the course that we do, I go very, very heavy into those dietary guidelines there. All right, let me keep moving down here. All right, Claudia, my GP MD says I have macular degeneration, should not take vitamin A. Quercetin, okay, we went over that. Dry macular degeneration, great. Scrolling down here, and the scroll is not working. Will the program help condition? Yes. Late geographic atrophy, absolutely. Cataracts can be reversed. Can cataracts be reversed? They can if they are early stage or mid stage. They can't be reversed if they're late stage. You have to have surgery. However, Israel is working on a drop that they are claiming can totally reverse cataracts, which I'm pretty pumped about. That would be pretty awesome. So I've been watching that. It's been out for about 6 years. They've been talking about that. I haven't heard much lately, but we're looking into that. Okay. Shelf life for the ACS 3000 should last for life. If you take care of it, Pam, should have no problem. If you have any issues with it, reach out to us. We'll always help you take care of it. But yeah, you should, as long as you take care of it, the ACS should last forever. Let's see. What is your experience with rod cone dystrophy? Great question, Brady. I see a lot of RCD cases, and same as RP. One of the most successful rod cone dystrophy and cone rod dystrophies, RP, Usher syndrome, all of that RP family, whether it's genetic. Half the patients come in, they're like, well, I'm told it's genetic, but nobody in my family has it. At least half of my patients with rod cone dystrophy, cone rod dystrophy, or RP are first generation. And again, it's my belief that is an autoimmune condition, and you guys are going to learn a lot about that inside. So if someone has RP, is it possible to cure their vision like normal people? It depends. That's a great question. Early stage, yes, we can prevent vision. You're going to have a little issues with night vision, maybe a little bit with adaptation. But other than that, yeah, we can absolutely preserve vision. I have patients that I've been working with over 20 years who were told they're going to be blind. Some they're in college and high school and little kids when I was working with them. Now they're adults with family of their own. So yes, I can absolutely say, having done this for 30 years, that I have patients that I've been working with for well over 20 years that are stable and doing fantastic. Let's see, John, I've been doing 20 minutes per day for 14 months. No. So John says that's great. You can do daily with the ACS. We recommend starting daily. Great. Don't use Facebook. That's fine. And John, if you have any more questions about that, reach out to us. But yeah, you're doing great. Sounds like you're doing a great job. Are there shots for dry macular degeneration? Yes. Simferve is the new one they're using. I don't recommend it yet because there's more side effects than good, and I simply haven't seen enough benefit. I have a bunch of patients who've done it, maybe a dozen or so, yet none of them have reported benefits. And I've looked at their tests, so I haven't seen any of that yet. So that's that, John. Appreciate you coming on. Fred, integrate hydrogen. Will you integrate hydrogen therapy? Yes. So we do integrate molecular hydrogen therapy in clinic. We also have patients who use molecular hydrogen at home. Every other month, we do have a special order for that. So if you're interested in that, reach out to us and you guys can get on our list when we do our next order for molecular hydrogen. I have a ton of videos on that. In our 12-week course, we go very deep into hydrogen as well. Will you, got that. Any information on the specific use of infrared therapy? That's a great question, Suzette. I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot. I know a lot about infrared therapy. I think it's better for general health. I haven't seen a lot of that for specifically for eyes. Okay, we use it in clinic for other conditions, more for musculoskeletal, but I think it's good for overall health. I don't know, and I don't think it's going to be directly beneficial for eyes, but it could be. Rick, a result of a previous retinal detachment, I developed a macular pucker. I also have cataracts. I've been told the pucker surgery, yes, the pucker surgery is very risky. They do a vitrectomy. They take all the gel out. They put it back in. You're going to lose vision just from that. I was told I have retinitis pigmentosa, that particle breakdown is as well. Yes. So I definitely, Rick, would look at, again, either telehealth, come into clinic, jump into the 12-week program. Definitely the ACS will help, all that stuff. And then again, guys, feel free to email me. You guys have questions. If I don't get to your answers, I'm still working through them. I'm going to go a little later with you guys because I love you. But again, if I don't get to your stuff, please, please, please reach out to us. Again, we're way more than I thought, which is great, but only we're bottlenecking a little bit because there's only one me and I can only talk fast as I can. Brother has AMD, 72 years old, and just wondering if it can help. Absolutely can get some vision back. All of it, probably not. Some of it, absolutely. I've had so many patients be able to read, get their driver's license back. It's really amazing what this technology and the science can do. Let's see, Alex, temporary ischemic issue during cataract procedure. I'm reading through this. Retinal tissue, a little scarring. So yeah, Alex, so reach out to me. I want to talk to you about this condition here. I need a little bit more information. So I'm reading through this. I see what you're saying. I need to talk to you about this to find out a little bit more specifics, to find out if or how I can help. And again, remember, guys, we're so busy, like crazy busy. If I don't think I can help you guys, I will tell you that I don't think I can help, but I'll also let you know what I do think will be able to help. So, okay, water Water fast benefits and specifically through the body. Yeah, so we do a lot on fasting inside the 12-week course. We talk a lot about that. Fasting is the fast is the best way and fastest way to get rid of inflammation, especially metabolic-based inflammation. So a huge fan of fasting. We do talk about that in depth in our 12-week Acuvision recovery program. Okay, Dr. Acupuncturist Medicine, Dr. Nancy, colleagues are getting some great results. Okay, great. So Nancy, you and I can talk about that. Generally speaking, electroacupuncture is senior. That's the best method that I recommend that we use in clinics. Second best is alternating current stimulation. So for your patients, you want them to do treatment with you in clinic. You want them all to be using ACS at home to amplify the results and just make your job a little bit easier. Okay, so Vanessa, what I'd recommend is either we can do a follow-up telehealth or we can jump you into the 12-week program. But either way, email me more and we can chat more about your case. All right, let's see. Let me move down here. My scroll is slow. Flush niacin benefits. All right, I get into that in a couple of my courses. But yeah, real quick, flush niacin benefits is, I don't recommend this for everybody, but niacin, basically the idea here is of using niacin to flush out is a chelating agent. Whoever, I forget who answered that question, but you can also amplify that if you do niacin flush when you exercise. You're going to feel hot, you're going to get flushed, but when you exercise with the niacin, you take niacin, you exercise, amplifies the efficacy of that. Surgery for glaucoma, lower pressure will AC. No. So Anna, if you had surgery for glaucoma, remember, glaucoma specialists only focus on the optic nerve. I'm sorry, they do not focus on the optic nerve. They only focus on the eye pressure. That's it. Drugs, surgery to lower eye pressure. They don't do anything to help your optic nerve. You absolutely need treatment like the ACS, like acupuncture, some treatments to help get the blood flow and oxygen to the optic nerve because your glaucoma specialists are having nothing to do with that. So any of you guys who are dealing with glaucoma, your glaucoma specialists are only dealing with pressure. That is one of many factors that are going to destroy your vision, and there are others that they are not addressing. Hence, again, why we need to leverage the integrative model. John Nyan, we talked about that. Definitely, use the ACS. That'll keep working for you. Hyperbaric oxygen, acupuncture, the supplements, all that. Husband had a laminectomy, left him blind, damaged the optic nerve. He had stem cell treatments. Yeah. Again, so if there is no light perception after something like that, I'd kind of like bow out. That I don't think there's much I could do. But again, give it a shot. I've been wowed and blown away by some cases that I thought I couldn't help that totally shocked me. So I never say never, right? Again, those of you guys who does ACS 3000 come with instructions? Absolutely, Lisa. It has instructions on how to use it, video, written instructions, and we do have support for that as well. Next was okay, many techniques of acupuncture used to treat RP. You have published results in medical journals where you have used traditional points. So great question. This research study I did with Hopkins, I created a study, but that study is not what I use in clinical study. That was a shotgun approach where we got 50% efficacy, which is amazing, right? Drugs usually get in the 20%. So we got 50% success rate. In clinic, we get around 85 to 90%. That's because each patient gets their own specific treatment methods. And acupuncturists, we do, again, like I said earlier, we're offering a training program in probably the late winter, early spring of 2025. So make sure you are on our acupuncture or microacupuncture 48 group and on our list, and we'll get you that information. So we're looking forward to doing that. I haven't taught in a while. Okay. Scrolling on down here. Okay, keep going. Recommend vitamin D for glaucoma. It can be useful. Yeah, vitamin D, check your levels, especially if it's normal tension, you think there is an autoimmune component, because vitamin D is your best nutrient for autoimmune factors. We go to that very deeply in our course. eye stroke, have full visual field, can read. Yeah, ACS for sure. Some supplements. Keith, reach out to me. You're doing great with that. Keep doing that. Keep up with the supplements. The eye exercise are going to help a lot. Again, with these eye strokes, guys, it just takes some time. We're after it. It's just nerve cells regenerate at a pretty slow rate. So it's frustrating. It happens, but just never as fast as we want it to. All right. So, Natalie, the Cyfix 6000 electrostimulation machine works the same way as yours. I don't know anything about that. Oh, I do. I know what you're talking about, the Cyfix. It is different. So first thing is it's not microcurrent. It is microcurrent, but it's not alternating current. And in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to put videos out on why alternating current is far superior to direct current when it comes to alternating current, when it comes to microcurrent stimulation for your vision. And this is based on the research that we've done over the years and the clinical results that we've seen, having over 1,000 people right now using the ACS 3000 worldwide. So I haven't used the Cyfix 6000 clinically, so I can't give feedback on that. However, I have used other devices that are direct current over the years, and it can't touch alternating current stimulation. Any of the direct currents aren't even, they're like 50% effective at best, where the ACS is 80 to 85%. Visual snow, yes, went through that, Lewis, absolutely. Visual snow. What's your advice wearing? What is your advice on wearing sunglasses? Wear them outside. UVA and UVB protection. We have a whole module, again, where we go into UVA, UVB protection, what you need to know about all of that. Absolutely, without question, disagree. If you have a holistic health provider that's telling you it doesn't matter, find another. With all due respect, no disrespect, but find somebody else. If they're telling you not to wear, if you have an eye issue and you're telling not to wear UV protection outside in the sun, especially if you're going to be outside for a while, that's misinformation. Yes, we covered Stargardt. Stargardt macular dystrophy is a genetic condition in the RP family. We see tremendous results with that. Again, it's a little slower to recover, but again, the big thing with Stargardt's is just stay off vitamin A or vitamin E. But we have a lot. The ACS can help tremendously with that. A lot with Stargardt's. Bates method, yes. So we have an upgrade to the Bates method, which is our eye Qigong, Dr. Rosenfarb Acuvision eye Qigong. We do have that for sale on our website, and anybody who makes a purchase for any of these today do get those with your purchase. So you will get those. So it's an upgrade from the Bates method. Bates method's great. It's a little bit old and outdated. Okay, so we had that. Moving on. Red light therapy, yes, talked about that. Absolutely beneficial. You guys are going to have information on that. Do you have to take a class? No. Damn, a great question. Do you have to take a class to be successful with the ACS? No, very easy. Won't take you more than 5 minutes in the video and the instructions to learn how to use. If you're a practitioner, you want to reach out to me. Our next training that I'm going to be doing for acupuncturists is going to be a deep dive on how to help your patients use ACS, which is definitely going to be a little bit more of a class. But if you're a practitioner, you have questions, just reach out to me. I'll give you guys time. We can hop on a call or just email back and forth. Let's see. Do you have, right, moving on now. I do about 20 half-hour acupuncture treatments a year ago in Chicago. Okay, so if you saw results, great, and then keep going. If you didn't, then try something else. Difference between the course and the telehealth. Okay, great. Cindy, great question. So the course is a 12-week program that you get. We talked about all the education that's involved. So go back to an earlier portion of this presentation we did, and we really dove into the mechanism. Telehealth is a 1-hour one-on-one where I sit with you guys. We usually do a Zoom. If that's possible, we'll hop on the phone. I get all the records from your eye doctors, and we dive very deeply into your case and create an at-home or sometimes in clinic, whatever we can do to help you create that program. So it's very specific and unique, identifying the causative factors that are driving your condition, how to recover and preserve your vision. Lost power, optic nerve hyperplasia. Yeah, so that's a big response, but yes, we do work with optic nerve hyperplasia. Ellen, email me on that. I could give you specifics on that. No problem. Just let's talk about that offline because that's kind of a bit of a lengthy conversation. And again, I need to know more specifics about I'm not sure if that's for you or a loved one. We got to jump into that and get a little bit more of a deep dive. Gihan, what is your thoughts on can't see eye drops for cataracts? A huge fan. All of the NAC eye drops, again, can help for early stage cataracts. They're also very good for blue lights, right? Can see NAC eye drops are very, very good. For those of you guys who are using a lot of screen time, it neutralizes the radiation stress. I need some sponges for the office. Just call the office or order online. Absolutely. All right, we're moving on through here. What is the issue with your brain rather than eyes? Yes, so often it's the visual system. Remember, brain sees, the optic nerve connects the eyes to the ball, but the brain is what sees. And the visual system is the eye, the optic nerve, and the brain. So we need to focus on all of them. We're always working on all of them. We're located in Westfield, New Jersey, USA. Is your microcurrent? Yes, it is different. So somebody said, is a microcurrent therapy different from restore vision? Yes and no. So it is not exactly the same because the device, I know the company that makes the devices in Germany, they can't sell to the US. I asked 10 years ago because it's not FDA approved. However, we do know the frequencies that are used because the company that developed those models that created them, or not those units, we were in touch with, and it's the same technology that we used for our study done with Hopkins Nova Southeastern. So essentially, it's the same thing, and you get to use it for your life more than just 2 weeks. Great question, Ellen. I'm interested in red light or for stem cells. Yeah, I don't know if that's a great question. I don't know yet. I have to do more research. There are benefits for red light therapy, mostly for the mitochondria and the circulatory system. I don't know if they stimulate stem cells yet. Stay tuned on that. I'm going to be doing some research. CRVO and Eylea injections, yeah, they recommend that sometimes. Look, it's just part of the protocol. If they see active bleeding, get the injections. If there's no more bleeding, they're not going to help. The Eylea injections are only if there's active bleeding with those. Sometimes doing injections as well. Whole my retina. ACS can help reduce that or make it worse. Absolutely, supplements are critical for that as well because we need to figure out what caused the retinal hole. So I got to get more specifics on that from you as well. ACS 3000 for diabetic macular edema, absolutely. Also, the red light therapy and supplements are going to be really important for that. AREDS vitamins, they're good. They're just too basic. It's a good start, but it's just scanty and not enough. And I also don't like the Preservision or OcuGuards because it's just, sorry guys, it's a crappy supplement. They have binders, they don't break down. And when I consistently test my patients' carotenoid scores, which is the vitamin A, the lutein, the zeaxanthin, they always come up short, meaning that what's on the bottle is great, but what you're taking is not bioavailable and you're not digesting it or using it. TENS unit for home therapy, retinal occlusion, do not use TENS on your eyes. ACS 3000, do not use TENS. It is too strong and it's not designed. You actually can do some damage. So please, 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 Scott, don't use TENS on your eyes. Get the ACS. Let's move on. I'm trying to power through these guys. We're getting there. I promise you, I'm going to finish these. Possible to reverse cataracts with NO2 injection. No, actually, the NAC eye drops will help that. The CAN-C will help. Also, we're having good results with the molecular hydrogen, which is help reducing the oxidative stress that's driving cataracts as well. What do you think about implant eye drops for glaucoma? Don't know enough about those. I know about them, but I haven't seen enough results, Barbara. So I can't get to that. I can't give you a definitive answer until I see more. I'll keep an eye on that over the next year or two, see what's going on. And I haven't had enough patients who've worked with that either. So interesting, great question. I can't give you a clear feedback on that. Marilyn using ACS with great success the past few years. Didn't need the injections for wet AMD. How long should I continue using it? Forever. And I'm not kidding. Keep using it. You want to keep. I have so many patients who stop needing injections. Do you have macular degeneration? You want to stop getting injections? Get the ACS, jump into our 12-week program, consider a telehealth, or come to our office for treatment. It's possible. You don't have to get injections for the rest of your life. How long before you see improvement with ACS? Great question, Ian. I've had some patients literally the first, second day say they see improvement. Other patients take a little bit longer within 12 weeks. And again, it's a tricky question because I don't know where you're starting, what your starting point of vision is, or what your eye condition is. The majority of patients see improvement within the first 30 days, measure improvements absolutely within the first 12 weeks. Ophthalmologist recommends ARIDS. Okay, for AMD, I talked about that. ARIDS is great, just not the Preservision or OcuGuard. Red light therapy for RP. Stay tuned, Scott. We are giving information this coming week on red light therapy glasses. RP2 for Ushers involved. Guys, RP in Ushers is the most stable of all the conditions we treat. I love getting Ushers patients because I know they're once we get the results, they hold the results more than any, not that everybody else doesn't, but these are just key observations I've made over years. I've never had an Usher patient that didn't respond positively and hold the results. So Usher's patients are some of my favorite patients to work with. Dan, how do you treat unilateral issues? Both eyes. Yeah, you could just do the treatments on one eye. So if you have like an eye stroke in one eye, you could do over the eye to the side with the ACS, but reach out to me for specifics on that. No. So is there a downside to using too much ACS? No, it's just shooting blanks. So after some patients with eye strokes are doing like twice a day, don't know if it's going to be extra helpful. The reason ACS is so much better and you don't have to do it as much as DC is because it goes deeper into the eye. DC current only hits the superficial areas. Alternating current goes deep to the retina, into the optic nerve, into the macula, where direct current microcurrent uses will not touch, and TENS will fry them. You won't go, it's going to hurt if you use 10 units. So ACS is definitely the best thing you do. But no downside. It's just, you're going to get to a point where it's just not going to be therapeutically beneficial. Marilyn, does geographic atrophy, GA, have to show up? I lost that question. Give me a sec. Reboot. Does GA have to show up as a white patch or can it be black? It could be blank, but usually you start to see evidence in an OCT or fundus exam of scarring. What's the cost for the 12-week without the ACS? Great question. So the 12-week course, again, is usually $3,000. For this weekend, it's only $2,000. So you guys are going to save $1,000 off that. And you are welcome. Not about eyes, acupuncture and our oxygen therapy help scartoma. Yes. So again, you want to find out more specifics about that, but absolutely can be beneficial, Lord. Let me move down. We're getting to the nitty gritty here. I'm going to finish up. I'm committed, guys. I am committed to you. Just my scrolling isn't working too well. Okay, how long does each module take to go through? Oh, great. So Cindy, the modules, great question. Some are a little shorter. So some are like 45 minutes, some are 90 minutes. You have all week, you have all the time you want. If you get backed up on your modules, you get backed up. They're dripped and released every week. So even if you go on vacation, you miss 2 or 3 weeks, you can catch up at your own convenience. This is a DIY series. There's no homework. Well, there's some homework, but you don't have to, you can do it at your own convenience, right? It's an on-demand course. So that's a good question. Microcurrent more effective than at home? No, not my unit right now. So the units that we were using in clinic are the ones that I use at home now. So the same ones used to not be the case, but the units that we use at home with you guys are the same ones we use in clinic. Great question, Ellen. What cures cataracts? Just early stage treatment, but late stage cataracts need surgery. Right now, there's no cure for cataracts. You live long enough, right now, you're just going to get them. Can more than one person in the household use the same? Of course, and it's a great question. So, guys, if you have a couple family members who have an ACS unit, use it. You have, husband, wife, brother, whatever. You guys can both use it. If you bring your friends over. You got a friend, a neighbor who wants to get in on the course. Whatever. It's on the honor system, but please, don't share that you invested, you paid for it. So value your investment. But look, if you have a family member who's dealing with an eye condition, you want to share the course with them, please do. There's information to get that. Cindy, thanks so much for asking that question. And I am not We're not policing you guys. It's an honor system. So value your investment. But yeah, if you guys have a best friend, you guys want to go in it together, do it. Jump in the course. Hymenopsia, yes. Late stage, Gerard, email me about that. We got to talk about that. I have a lot of questions. There's things we can do, but I need more information before I give you a direct answer on that. Ray, so we didn't get deep into RP. I didn't get deep into specific conditions, but yes, everything we're talking about here, the in-office, the telehealth consultations, the 12-week program are designed for all eye conditions, all neurovascular, retinal, macular, optic nerve degenerative conditions. So if you want specifics about RP, reach out to me. We do have videos. If you go to our YouTube page and you go under our playlist, I have our conditions are listed so you guys can watch content of those specific conditions. And Ray, feel free to reach out to me if you have more questions. How's the ACS work? Very simply and very effectively, Gail. It's very easy. They're pads that you put over your eyes. It's a little unit that you press, you start the button, you hit the frequency, and we have elderly people use it and little kids use it with no problem. Super simple, super effective. Having little results with the AC unit with RP. Is there help actually for RP after having it for 30 years? Absolutely, Ray. Yeah, I have patients who've had it, who are late stage adults, but had it for years. And again, I'm not sure how advanced you are or where you at, but please feel free to reach out to me so we can talk more about your condition to find out if or how I can help. What is the recommended dose for ACE2 or hyaluronic acid? Hyaluronic acid, start with 2 a day. Hydrogen, 2 tablets in water. Our Hydrovision tabs at Eye Health Institute. You can order them from there. 2 drops in water first thing in the morning. Wait till they dissolve and drink them down right away. And if you need more specifics on that, Suzette, reach out to me. Your thoughts on FDA-approved therapy? Again, not sure about that. I'm holding out. I don't like it yet. I'm not sure if it works. I see the research, but I haven't seen anything clinical. Yeah. High myopia, IOPs 20/20/52. Yeah, absolutely, Lori. We want to prevent it. High myopia, eye pressure is creeping up there. We want to prevent you're at higher risk for glaucoma. So we have to mitigate those risks and identify exactly what those are. Jane, I have extreme allergies, including itchy eyes. Could the allergy meds? Yeah, actually, excuse me, talking a lot. Allergy meds can impact AMD. We have content on that. There's a lot of meds. And if you have more specifics on that, Jane, we could talk about that. When we do our telehealths, and even on our Q&A sessions in the group, I do get very into specific meds and specific cases. So you and I could chit chat about that one-on-one. Sharon, blue light block DH. Does blue light block DHA and vitamin A from the eye and retina? Yes, blue light is a major problem, guys. In short, I have a lot of videos on this you guys can watch. We go deep into this in the course. In short, blue light is a new stress since we got these things and our tablets that our biology has not caught up to the technology. Blue light destroys the cone cells in the macula significantly. So we have to protect with blue light glasses, with screens, protectors, and all that stuff. But yeah, very, very important to use UV and blue light protection. Is the ACS 3000 to the, it is a frequency specific machine, but I don't know if you're talking about Chondrots or any other ones, but it is frequency specific. I'll leave it at that. Yes. Bioresonance therapy, doing bioresonance therapy for my RP. Ray, let me know. I haven't heard, I know about bioresonance. I haven't heard about it for RP. So please reach out to me. I'd love to hear about how that's working out for you. Always interested in hearing from patients and individuals and you guys dealing in terms of what's working, what has worked, what hasn't. ACS units stir up pigment. No. Absolutely doesn't. Great question. Doesn't stir things up, and it doesn't accelerate anything. It just kind of helps repair and recovery. It's a very mild therapy that helps the body stimulate its own natural healing process. Betty using the ACS 3000, already had cataract surgery, having lens implant, no issues with that. A lot of floaters. We want to get you on hyaluronic acid. Make sure you're hydrated. Can't drive at night from the light blur. Yeah, that's With the cataracts, real quick, Betty, you want to go and check out. Sometimes you can have protein buildup on the lens after cataract surgery. So you shouldn't be really having much of that haziness or blurriness at night post cataract. So again, I'm not 100% sure your situation, but definitely go check that out. And we're getting down to the last few. Scott, last few questions, and we'll wrap up. Preservation is not recommended. Do you have AREDS? Yeah. So on our site, eyehealthinstitute.com, we have our online store, and our total vision formula is what I recommend. It's an AREDS with the kitchen sink. It has pretty much everything you need. The only case that I don't recommend this formula for are for folks with Stargardt's, because it has a lot of vitamin A in it. Please start a clinic in Canada. Yeah, I'm working on cloning myself, Ray. I'm almost there, bud. Let you know when I get it done. You're welcome, Cindy. And last but not least is, I see Marilyn's got a thing. 40-year-old friend has drusen since age 21, cholesterol, no symptoms of AMD. What is that? So you can have ocular waste, cholesterol can deposit in the eye. I need to see specifics on that case, but it kind of sets them up. Cholesterol can deposit anywhere in the body, the brain, the liver. Like you have a fatty liver, now they got a fatty retina. So the idea is to identify, do they have fat metabolism problems? Is it blood sugar converting from pre-diabetes? So we need to really dive into your friend's condition, Marilyn. But thanks for bringing that up. Okay, we made it in almost 2 hours. All right. So last thing I want to do is just round off, since we got to the majority of your questions. And again, guys, if I didn't get to your question, Blaine and I are actually going to start doing more of these, probably on a bi-monthly basis, at least, because we see that you guys need this, you want this. I want to be available for you guys to answer questions, even if you're not like fully into our programs. I still want to provide this service for you guys to answer questions, give you guys some hope, give you some direction that's qualified, right? You guys everybody's got feedback for you, but it's not qualified. That means qualified means, do you know what you're talking about? Have you done research? Do you have experience? Do you have a basis from which to give these recommendations? And I do. So in summary, we have our ACS that we're offering for $500 off through the weekend. If you have questions about that and you're not sure, email us. We'll be around this weekend to answer your questions. And if you have questions about the course, same thing. $1,000 off the course. If you want to buy both of them, you get $1,500 off that. Now, that's the offer. And for those of you guys who are interested in possibly coming in clinic for an in-office visit, if you're a new patient and considering that, hold off for your book until Monday. Monday, we're offering a Cyber Monday deal for you guys who are looking to come in. It's amazing, like ridiculous. Wayne told me not to do this, but I did this anyway. So yeah, those of you guys who are looking to come in as new patients, look out. Cyber Monday, we're putting an offer out. That's ridiculous. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any other questions, I know this is a lot. I did a rapid fire questions and answers. If you have questions about the course, the 12-week program, if you have questions about telehealth, if you have questions about the ACS, red light therapy content will be coming out next week. And if you have questions about becoming an in-office patient or just questions in general related to your eyes, please feel free to reach out to our office. Email, you can DM us. We have our support line. We have our Facebook groups, Dr. Rosenfarb Acuvision community on Facebook. We have our YouTube video that we're live streaming this too. And again, I strongly recommend those of you guys who are on the fence about getting the ACS, $500 off. We're not offering that discount anymore. The online course will never be offered at this low price again. It's going to $300. Is only as I add to it and add more content, it's eventually going to be a $5,000 course. I can tell you that now. This is first offer. We're launching it Black Friday, so we're giving you guys a super deal. It will get more expensive as time goes because I'm going to build it out and add more around it. So again, I am Dr. Andy Rosenfarb. Thank you so much for your time. It was so much fun getting to know you guys, answering your questions. Please feel free to reach out to us. Make sure you're on our email list, our Facebook group. Everything else is here for you. at our disposal. Again, Dr. Andy Rosenfarb, your vision is our mission. Have a great, bright Friday and enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you soon.